Today I'd like to show you Diex Aie. Diex Aie is a game of the Norman Saga. Norman Saga is a series of medieval tactical scale games that are spiritual successors of the famous 80s board game Cry Havoc. And Norman Saga is essentially the same system with updated rules that are a bit more complex than the original Cry Havoc, because original Cry Havoc was a very easy system. And on the couple of gameplays I would like to show you how this game works. Diex Aie comes with about 17 small, medium or bigger scenarios, along with 2 campaign scenarios. These campaign scenarios are completely different, so I will cover them in the separate videos, but first I would like to show you these tactical scenarios. And today I'm going to start with the scenario about the Battle of Stamford Bridge. There are 2 scenarios about this battle, and this scenario shows the initial stage of the Battle of Stamford Bridge, where Saxon forces led by King Harold are reaching Vikings who were sleeping. That this is a good word. They were sleeping in their camp, and they weren't prepared for the surprising attack of the Saxons. And Saxons killed a lot of them before they were even able to wake up, and then they reached the bridge. And then on the bridge there was, as sources say, some very strong and powerful Viking who stood alone against upcoming Saxons, and he killed about 40 of them before some smart Saxon moved under the bridge and hit this Viking with his spear. And this scenario covers this situation. So we have some Vikings who are going to defend the bridge, and we have some Saxons who are going to attack. And now let's take a look on the counters, and let me tell you how everything works. If you played Cry Havoc before, you will find that a lot of rules are very similar, but like I said, this game is more complex than original Cry Havoc, so you will find some new stuff as well. So, each counter represents a single warrior. And what do we have here on the counters? We have 3 factors. First one, on the upper left corner, is warrior's attack strength. Next, we have his defense factor, and if it's in the round red circle, it means that he is in armor. Next, we have his movement points. Next, we have his silhouette, his name. Each character has its unique name, which I think makes this game quite cool, because it gives you a vibe that you are really fighting with certain characters. And next, we have 3 letters here in the lower right corner that they will give you a lot of information about the characters. First letter from the left shows us character's nationality. So he has X. This means that he is a Saxon. Next letter tells us if the warrior is infantry or mounted. If it is E, this means that he is footman, and if it is C, that means that he is a cavalryman. And finally, third letter tells us what kind of warrior he is. So they, for example, have T. So they are tanks. Tanks were a Saxon noblemen. They were elite of the Saxon society, and they were well armed and well trained. Finally, each character has at last 2 counters. Why? Because when your character is stunned during the combat, you have to flip him on the stunned side. You can see that he has only defense value and only of 1. But if your character is wounded during the combat, you have to replace him with his counter on the wounded version. Usually all his factors are halved, rounding down. And if he is wounded again, this means that he is dead and you have to flip the counter and place it on the dead side, showing that the dead body is lying there, because even dead bodies might have an impact on the game. So, these are 4 tanks. Next we have 9 Saxon infantry light warriors. They are not well armed, but they are still skilled, and they can be deadly, usually in big number. And next we have our distance warriors. We have 2 Saxon infantry archers and 2 Saxon infantry javelin throwers. And javelin throwers are pretty unique because your archers always have unlimited number of arrows. They can fire as long as they can. But javelin throwers have a limit of 4 javelins, and you have to mark it. You can just simply write their name and notice on the card that he has 4, 3, 2 or 1 javelins. Or if you have some counters with numbers, you can put them below them. I think this is easiest way to mark the number of javelins already owned by such a warrior. Now let's go to Danes. Who do we have here? They have 1 Danish infantry archer. They have 6 Danish infantry light warriors, and they have 3 Danish infantry medium warriors who are called Headsmen. Headsmen were kinda of professional Vikings. They were very well trained and armed. They were often quite strong, and Jarls used to pay them that they would join their expeditions. And among them there is Eskil. Eskil is particularly strong Viking. He represents this hero who managed to stood on the bridge and slow Saxon advance down significantly. So you can see that he has a pretty impressive strength, and he has some special features in this scenario only, but we will talk about them later. Now, when it comes to setup. Norwegians are starting their setup, and they have to set up along with Eskil on this part of the board between edge 3 and the bridge, while Saxons are starting off board, but they can enter the game from the edge 1 anywhere in this edge 1 in the turn 1. An important rule says that the stream is impassable. You can only cross it via bridge. Normally, in some of the scenarios, you are allowed to move through the bridge, but here in this particular scenario, you can only cross it. You can only cross the stream with bridge, which makes a good defensive position for Danes, of course. Oh, no Danes, they are Vikings. So they are Norwegians. You can see they have D because in this era most of Vikings were usually called Danes. There was no difference for Swedes, Danes, Norwegians. People in Europe tend to call them all Danes, but in fact they are all Norwegians. Now you can see our Vikings set up for combat, but before we will start, I would like to mention one more thing. Notice that Valtiof, Hjalbon, Soen, Eskil and Ogni are armed with 2-handed axes. This is marked by this heavy axe they hold, but it is also mentioned in the rules. And if they have this heavy axe, and if they are still in full health and they are standing, they can do a special attack during their combat phase with this 2-handed axe. You have to mark them with this counter, and if they do so, they can attack with their strength being doubled. So this is pretty good. But if they are attacked during enemy combat phase, then attacker gains a positive modifier for attacking them, because they are, well, a bit more vulnerable, because they are holding their axe with 2 hands, but they have no shield to protect them. And Finally, about victory conditions. The Saxons win if they have at last 3 characters between the stream and the side 3. This means between stream and this edge of the board. Otherwise, the Norwegians win having fought a successful delaying action. And the scenario takes 12 turns to play. Actually, judging on my own experience, it might earn Ilya if, well, all the warriors of the one side were killed. There is a chance that it might happen, but we don't know, so we have 12 turns to do so. Okay, we have our setup ready, so we can start the game. Of course, Saxons are going to be first to go, so let's turn into them. And now, each player has a couple of phases. First phase is a missile fire phase, but, well, we can't do any missile fire because all our units are out of board. So we are moving into the turn 2, which is movement phase. In this phase you can move your units with the number of their movement points. So I'm going to start with my light infantry warriors, and there is no facing here when it comes to the foot units. Facing is pretty important when you are using mounted units, because they have their front, etc, etc, but mounted units have no front, they can move normally. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, he goes here. And that's all for him. Let's go for the others. Now Adgar, he goes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now, let's say that this Viking archer wants to fire at him. It is possible. You can get 1 defensive fire for warrior per enemy movement phase, and 1 offensive fire during your own missile fire phase. So let's assume Kari wants to fire at him. He has to score a hit first, so let's place defensive fire marker next to him, so we know that he's spent. And now, first of all, we have to calculate the distance. I could fire at him at any moment, but I wanted him to get closer, because the closer the enemy is, the higher your chance is. So, first of all, I need to check if my weapon can do defensive fire, because not every missile weapon can do defensive fire. You have to go into the table and see if your missile weapon has offensive or defensive fire. So I'm using short bow, and see, I can use defensive fire. So this is fine, I can fire with my weapon in defense. Next, I have to check the number of hexes between firing unit and the target. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and now let's return to the table. I've been firing with short bow, so this is 110 on the short range. So that's good. I will get no modifier for medium or short range, because if I would fire on the medium range, I would get +1, and if I would fire on the long range, I would have +2. And you can see that if we are firing within 4 hexes range, we got -2. And now we have to do to hit check to see if we hit enemy. So we are making 1d10 roll, and this is 5, so we missed, because there is a diagram here, and you can see if you rolled 1 to 4, you hit the target that you wanted to hit, and if you rolled any other result, you hit some adjacent hexes, so 5. This means, according to the diagram, that we hit that hex. There is no one there, so this is a miss. So if there would be any other character, no matter if it's friend or foe, he would be hit, but there is no one, so we can go. Next, I'm going to move my javelin throwers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now, just like I said, I'm going to give each of them a number of javelins they can use. So there are 4 javelins for him, and his pal is coming next to him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He also gets 4 javelins. Alright. Now, my archers. One of them is going to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is scrap. And he goes he goes hidden in the scrap. And my other archer is going to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why? Because he will have these Vikings there in his range. So he'll be able to fire at them during his own missile fire phase. So, our other light armed Saxons. Gurstan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wulfstan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ednot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Leogal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Helrak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Valdev. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And Bitulf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, you can see that none of them stacked with any other soldier, because in this game you are free to move through your friendly units, but you cannot stack. You can only have one man on the single hex. And finally, our tanks, who are the best warriors of the Saxon army in this scenario. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, they have only 6 movement points because they are, well, they are wearing armors, so their movement allowance is smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Leodvert. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, here they are. They are going to be my main force. So that's all, and now let's go to our Vikings. First, he is marked as defensive fire, so he can always also do offensive fire now, because these are Viking turns, and he's doing his offensive fire now. He fires at this javelin thrower because he sees him as a threat. So let's see if he hit him. Oh yeah, he did. This is 2. So great, he's hit. Now we have to check how good we hit him. We need to make a roll in shortbow javelin column, and our enemy is in the clear terrain. This means that he has no cover, so we will seek for the result in this column. So let's make a roll. We got 1. That's impressive. This is the best. The lower you get, the better. So this is 1, and 1 is D. D and offensive fire with wrong column, wrong table. This is against mounted targets, and this is against infantry. So 1 in non-cover is C. C. Character killed. Fantastic. He is dead. Arrow hits him right between the eyes and kills him before he could even notice what happened to him. So Elmer, you are first one who was killed in this battle. Okay, first blood. Amazing. Vikings are cheering for their archer being such amazing fire. Okay, so now that's all, since Vikings have no other units that can perform missile fire. So time for them to go. And now Eskel, he is this amazing fighter, so he moves 1, 2. Well, he's not going to move any further, because if he would go any further, then enemies would be able to attack him from multiple directions. His goal is rather to stop them on the bridge instead of attacking them. But now, when he's here, enemy archers can fire at him during their defensive fire. So Ethelwald thinks that he can hit this big Norwegian because, well, big Norwegian means big target. So let's see if Ethelwald can hit him. We have to draw straight line between our characters, and you can see that it crosses bridge. And while bridge itself provides no modifiers and anything else, but bridge hand roll provides cover. And if line of sight crosses hand roll, this means that we have to treat our target as being in the light cover. So let us make a roll to see if we hit the bastard. Yeah, we did it. And now let's see how good we hit him. And first of all, he's in the light cover, and first of all, he's armor. He's in armor. And when enemy is in armor, this means that we have to add +1 to our to kill roll. So let's make a roll. Oh, this is 8, and we have +7 in the light cover. This is nothing. So this is wasted shot. Ethelwald missed his opportunity to get rid of Eskil. That will be very good. And now you may ask about Alboret, who is here, if he can fire at Eskil as well. No, he can't. Why? Well, you can see that his line of sight crosses his friends. And you can fire above your character's heads, but only if you are firing on the range which is longer than 10 hexes, and definitely this is shorter than 10 hexes, so we are firing on the straight line, and so our friends are blocking line of sight. So no, I cannot fire. And when it comes to javelins, I cannot fire at him either, because javelins are only offensive missile weapon. They have no defensive fire option. So that's all. And now who else is going to move? Well, I believe Soren is going to join Eskil. Well, come on, guy, we have to stop these damn Saxons. And Scorab says, go, I'm coming with you, Eskil. We will show them, we will give them hell, right? By Odin, we will. And I have a couple of light armored Vikings. So 1, 2, 3. He's hiding in these bushes to find some hideout. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. He hides. 1, 2. And then, while he hides in this wood, the question is if my Saxon archer here can see him. I need to draw a line to see this. And yes, I have a line of sight. Well, dead body, of course, is not breaking our line of sight. So you can see, you can see that I can see him. So now let's calculate the distance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great! Because on the range 1 to 10 I have a short range. So that's great. We have a short range, so no modifiers. He will be in the light cover because this is bush, I mean scrap. But first let's see if we hit him. Yeah, we hit him. So this archer did his job. And now let's see how good we hit him. We have to remember that he is in the cover. This is light cover, but... Oh, 10. This is horrible. This is a miss. No. You know, the higher result, the worse. So this was defensive fire. And, well, that's all. I have no Viking warriors to move. And there are no Viking warriors adjacent to the enemy units. So no combat. And this means we can finish their combat phase, and we have a recover phase when we have to get up our stunned characters, but we have no stunned characters so far, so this concludes turn 1, and now we have to remove these defensive and offensive fire markers. Okay, so that's all for the turn 1. Well, it took me a while to explain everything, and there will be more explanation during the combat, of course, but I guess this is quite good to tell you everything in detail, how this game works, etc, etc. So, we are starting turn 2, and we are starting with Saxons. Let's see what they can do. First of all, we have missile fire phase, and now, of course, they want to fire. So, Etevold fires at Eskil again. He hopes that this time he will be able to kill the bastard. Let's see. Yeah, he hit, great, but how good he hit? It is 6 plus 1 because of the armor, and so it's 7, and we are seeking the result in the light cover, so nothing. Again, Etevold, are you drunk or something? But definitely you can do better. Now Alboret, he's firing at Kari because Kari is also an archer, so he wants to get rid of him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is short range. When we are fighting on the one board, it is pretty often to get a short range. So let's see if we hit him. Wow, again we hit him. This is very good. So now, how good we hit him? Oh, looks like it's happening all the time during this gameplay. We score a lot of hits, but most of them can't do anything serious to the target. It was 7, and he's in the scrap, so this is light cover, so this is nothing. Oh, that's bad. Okay, so he's marked as offensive fire, and now he is Gerbot. Okay, and Gerbot, he is a javelin thrower, and javelin thrower can fire at, let me find, 1-5 as a short range, or 6-12 as a medium range, or 12 or 16-30, or 13-25 as a long range. So Gerbot has only 4 javelins. So does he want to use them? It is kind of tempting to throw his javelin at Eskil. But can he do it? Well, nope, because line of sight moves through the Aldgar, so no. He can fire at Scorp, but Scorp will be in the light cover because our line of sight will be crossing handrail, but even so I will try. So, let's go. Oh, this is a miss, and now we have to check where we hit. So we are firing from this distance, so we hit that hex. No one is there, so this is a miss. And now I have to mark Gerbot as having 3 javelins only. So he's marked as offensive fire, and my other javelin thrower is dead, so this concludes Saxon missile fire phase, and now we can go into Saxon movement phase. Okay, so let's move our Saxons. I think I will go with my... I wonder if I should run my best warriors against Eskil, or I should try to swarm him with my less capable warriors. I think this might be a pretty good idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So my light infantrymen will try to attack Eskil together, and I will keep my better warriors so they can be used later. And now, as Gurstan enters this hex, he can be fired by Kari. But does Kari is Kari eager to fire at him? We'll be firing to the handrail, so he will be in the light cover. So this is always a tough question. If you want to wait until some better target will appear, or you want to fire instantly. I believe that firing at Gurstan might be a good idea, because he's going to attack my friend Eskil. But from the other hand, there is a danger that if I will miss the target, I might hit some of my friends, because there are 2 Vikings on the adjacent hexes. Well, let's see. Oh, we missed. That's bad. So let's take our diagram. This is, we were firing from this direction, so this hex is hit. So no one is hit. So carry is marked as defensive fire. And now my other warriors. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. They are moving here. And well, as for Gerbert, he's marked as offensive fire, and offensive fire is now limiting his movement. So he can move normally. 1, 2, 3, 4. He goes here because it will be easier for him to hit enemies later. Okay, so they are going here, and that's all when it comes to the movement. And now we're finally going to have our first close combat. Okay, so let's talk a bit about close combat first. First of all, there is you don't have to attack enemies. This is only your choice if you want to attack enemy warriors that are on the adjacent hexes. Next, you don't have to attack every enemy on the adjacent hex if you declare the attack. For example, Gurstan might attack Scorp, he might attack Eskil. This is his choice. He cannot attack both of them. You can attack only a single character. And finally, you are free to attack with more than a single character. So, I can attack Eskil with Artmel, Wulfstan and Gurstan. And I think this is a pretty good idea to gang on him, because he's pretty strong and dangerous character. If I want to get rid of him quickly, he might kill a couple of my men. Remember that his historical version killed, according to sources, about 40 Saxons. So we'd better get rid of him quickly. So, first of all, we need to calculate our strength and the difference. We have 9 plus 9, so it's 18, plus 10, so it's 28. Next, we have to subtract enemy's defense. So it was 28 minus 7, so our final result is 21. If you have a problem with remembering about it, you can use dice to mark it, for example, 21. Next, we are checking combat table. There are two combat tables, one when you are fighting against mounted opponents and one when you are fighting against infantry. So, we are seeking for the fitting column, and it is 21, 30. Okay, so now we know our column, and now we have to check for the possible shifts. We have one shift here, a shift because we have at last 2 or more enemies versus single character. We have 3, but it doesn't mean if you have 3, 4, 5, 6. If you have more than 2, you get 1 shift left. Sorry, right. Okay, or 1 shift right. So it will be no 21, 30, but 31, 50. There are other shifts, but this one is most popular. So, next, we have to check if we don't get any die roll modifiers. And in fact, we get 1. Because he is marked as wearing an armor, we get +1 to our die roll, which is negative modifier, because like I said before, the lower the better. So, let's make a roll. No, 1 and plus 8 plus 1, so it's 9. Horrible. I mean, he's really formidable warrior. Okay, so it's 9 in the 30-50. This is C. This is defender retreats 1 hex. So he moves 1 hex backwards, and now my warriors can do advance after combat. How advance after combat works? You can move with half of your movement points. So for example, he has 8, he has 8, and he has 8, so each of them can move 4. But first hex you are going to enter must be the hex that enemy left. So for example, I can go here, and well, I cannot go anywhere else because I cannot move through the enemy characters. So Wulfstan goes here. Haha, you are escaping, you you coward. Yeah, okay, but let's call it tactical retreat. So that's all when it comes to the combat. We have no other combat to resolve. So now that's all when it comes to our Saxons, and it's Viking time. Okay. Who is going to do what? First of all, we are starting with missile combat phase, and we have this archer. So Kari is going to fire, and is he going to fire at this javelin thrower or that archer who hides there in the bushes? I believe that javelin thrower because he's closer. So let's fire at him. It will be offensive fire. And we hit him. Great. How good we hit him. 3. And now I think this is a good shot. Short bow 3. This is B. And B. Offensive fire, character wounded. So, sorry dude, you are wounded. Gerbert gets his wounded marker, and now, since he is wounded, it will be harder for him to hit, because wounded characters get negative modifier for their to hit roll. Okay, so that's all when it comes to the missile fire, and now let's go to our Vikings. Well, there is not much space to move for our Vikings, and Eskil definitely heard that when Wulfstan called him a coward, so he wants to show him, well, that he's not a coward at all. So he is going to attack Wulfstan directly, while his pals are going to get out of Wulfstan pals. So we are going to have 3 different fights, and now what is quite important, notice that Wulfstan and Soren have these 2-handed axes, and they are going to use them to give Saxons hell. Okay, so now let's start with Soren, and Soren attacks Alfmer. Soren uses his 2-handed axe, so he has his strength doubled. So he has 22 versus 7. 22 versus 7 is 15. So we will use 13, 20 column. Let's make a roll. Pretty good. 2 in the 13. 20 is E. E means that defender is wounded. So Alfmer, if you will ever return home, you will wear a scar on your head. Now Eskil. And Eskil is a hero. And this means that when he attacks, he gets additional -5 modifier. So he's a really potent character. So this is 30 because of this axe versus 7. So it's 23. And 21, 30. And he gets -5 because of being a hero. Oh, that's a poor roll. But -5 gives us 4. So 4 in the 21 tier T is E. So Wulfstan, you are wounded. It wasn't wise to joke on Eskil. And now Skolp is attacking Gustan. He has no 2-handed axe, so he has to fight normally. 10 versus 8, this is just 2. And no modifiers, nothing. Just a very poor roll. 9, this is nothing. So Gustan did his job pretty well, defending against Skolp. Okay, and this concludes our actions, and this concludes turn 2 as well. Okay, so let's go with our Saxons and who is going to fire where. Let's remove those markers since they are going to do their fire now. And now, Gerbot is what he is going to do. I think he can fire at Hogni now, actually, and this would be only 4 hexes range, or even 3 hexes range, and no terrain modifiers. This is good. So he's going to fire at Hogni. This is great. And he's wounded. So he gets +1 to his die to hit roll. Yeah, he did. He hit, because 2 + 1 is 3. So Hogni is hit. Let's see how good. 6. Oh, not very good. 6. This is A. And offensive fire, character retreats 2 hexes. So Hogni runs away, being afraid of javelin flying over him. But nothing really happened to him. So Gerbert has only 2 javelins remain. Now, Alboret is going to fire at Kari. He hit him. Now remember that Kari is in the cover. No! Why? This is a miss, obvious miss. Now, Etevold. Can Etevold fire at anyone? Well, he can fire at Halbjörn, and I think this is his best target, so he fires at Halbjörn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No modifier for range, but this is a miss. There are no characters around Halbjörn, so nothing happens. And this concludes our offensive fire. Now, what Saxons are going to do during the movement phase? I guess that my clever plan of weakening the enemies with my weaker warriors failed, because, well, they are both wounded. So let's get them out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Run, you cowards! Cry Vikings. But now our best warriors are joining the fray. These 2 tanks, and now this might be bad for Vikings. Okay, so anyone else wants to move? I think Ligulf goes here, and they are not going to move. Why I'm not moving with them? Well, the answer is easy. Because this archer, when you are not moving, he cannot fire at you. He can only fire at the characters that are moving. So, since no one was moving in his range, he couldn't fire at anyone. So that's good. Okay, so now, what I'm going to do? I think I will join Hieldemar and Tickadel. No, Tidcattel. Okay, Tidcattel to attack Soen. Because he wears this, he has this two-handed axe, so they will get +1 column shift when attacking him. So they have 23 versus 6. 23 versus 6 is 17. So our basic combat strength is 17. So we will use a column of 13, 20. And now we get +1 because there is 2 versus 1. And +1 because he has this two-handed axe. So it will be 13, 31, 50 column. And notice that he wears armor. So we get +1. 8. Oh, we have bad luck for rolls. This is 8 in the 21, 50. This is D. Defender stunned. So we have to flip him on the other side. We can remove this two-handed axe. And he is stunned, so he won't be able to do much during his own phase. Well, and this is where some interesting thing happens. If I would attack him with only a single warrior and he would be stunned, then I would be able to attack him with my other warrior, who wasn't attacking him before, and now he would defend with only 1 point of defense. This is something. Sometimes this is something you should think about. If you would rather want to split your party for the different attacks, hoping that at last one of these attacks will stun your enemy, so it will be easier to hit him or to kill him with your other warriors. This might be a good tactics sometimes, but not now. And now Gustan, and question is if Gustan wants to fight against Scalp. Well, Gustan has 9, Scalp has 7, so it would be 2. Not a big chance to score anything, and still a chance that attacker will be wounded. But I will do it. Why not? Gustan doesn't want to be a chicken. 8. Nope. This is 8 in 0-4. This is nothing. Okay, so they are exchanging blows, but nothing really happens to them. So this concludes Saxons' actions. Now let's go to Vikings. Our only archer is going to fire at Gelbot, and he misses. No characters on the adjacent hexes, so nothing happens. And now my warriors there. Eskil, well, I will take this two-handed axe off him, and now he cannot attack while he's stunned. He's seeing stars flying around his head. So now Eskil and Scorp are attacking Haldmal. They have 25. Oh no, Eskil is going to attack alone because he will get this very cool -5 modifier. So he gets 15 versus 9. So this is 6. So it will be 5-8. But he gets -5 for his super attack and +1 because enemy is in armor. So he gets total of -4. Wow! That's it horrible. It is 10. So 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 in the 5-8 is B. So he has to retreat only 1 hex. So Eskil takes this position, but that's all. And now Scorp attacks Gustan. This is... well, they are simply fighting against each other, angry that they cannot hurt anyone. So 10 versus 8, so it's 2. And 4 in the 0-4 is C. Defender retreats 1 hex. So Scorp is driving Gustan back. And now this is a recovery phase, so Soen is waking up. And this concludes turn 3. So let's go with Saxons. And now Gabort is throwing his javelin at Borg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He gets +1 because he's wounded, so this is a hit, so Borg is hit by javelin. And 7 for javelin, nothing. So he has only 1 javelin now, and Alberot is firing at Kari. He missed, and now let's see where his arrow flies. On that hex. No one is here, so nothing happens. And I have Ethelvolt, but you can see that his spells are effectively blocking his line of sight, so he cannot fire at all. I have to move them somewhere so he will be able to fire at enemies. Okay, now this bridge, well, this situation is tricky at last. I wonder if I should change something, or they should rather still try to fight against each other, hoping to kill someone finally. Well, I guess this is the best thing they can do. So no maneuver here. So this also saves me from enemy missile defensive fire. So simply, Ligulf and Haldemar, Haldemar and Tikadel are attacking Eskil. So it's 23 versus 7. 23 versus 7, so this is 16. So we'll be using column of 13, 20 plus 1 because there is 2 versus 1. And plus 1 because enemy is in armor, so this is 4. 4 in the 20, 31, to 21, 30. This is E. So Eskil is wounded. Finally we managed to spill some blood of this guy. Okay, so Eskil, you are wounded, and Gurstan continues his glorious duel with Scorp. 4. This is C. Defender retreats 1 hex, so they are pushing each other all the time. So, our Vikings, well, Eskil sees that his situation is getting complicated at last, because he's wounded and he's bleeding, so he cannot use his two-handed axe anymore. This complicates these things. But first of all, missile fire. Kari fires at this javelin thrower here, and he misses completely. So he keeps this offensive fire. And now Vikings. I wonder if I should remove Eskil on the second line, but well, I don't want to. He's still a pretty good fighter, so let him do his job. But from the other hand, if he will go here, then they won't be able to gank on him. So, well, I will move him back. And now Soren wants to fight with his two-handed axe against Tidakel. So we have 22 versus 9. So this is 13. Oh, yes, 13. So this is 13, 20 column. And 10 to 20. This is A, right? Yes, this is A. So 1 attacker wounded. So this was a suicidal attack. Okay, this was Soren, and Soren, you are wounded. It wasn't a good idea to swing with this two-handed axe. And Scorp continues his epic struggle with Gustam. 4. So they are pushing each other back and forward all the time, up and down the bridge. Yes, and this concludes turn 4. Okay, time for Saxons. And what are they going to do? First of all, they want to fire, and I will fire my last javelin on Borg, who is here. So let's see if I can hit him. Nope, I missed him. So javelin flew from this hex, so it will hit 8 that hex. So nothing happens. So I have no more javelins. My archer still tries to hit the enemy archer. And I missed completely. It was 10, so I hit that hex, so no one's there. This is a miss. And this archer still cannot fire due to the blocked line of sight. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I will leave this hex. These 2 wounded guys have to make some space for my archer. And now here. And here we have an interesting situation that I would like to use. Well, Hildemar is here, and he wants to move on that hex. It is possible, but he has to make infiltration check to see if they will be able to stop him from entering this hex. I mean, he can because he moves. He starts here and he moves being in the scope zone of control. And because of that, he has to make a roll to see if he will be able to do infiltration or not. He declares that he wants to move on this hex. He doesn't want to move any further, and because of that, he has to make an infiltration check for the scope only. So, we need to make a roll. If we get a result which is 1 and 5, there is no effect, and we can even try to move on forward, but I don't want to. And if I get a result of 6, 7, I have to stop. If I get 8 or 9, I am wounded, and if I get 10, I am killed. So now I have to make to check for modifiers. If I am a rider, I have -1. If I am armored, I have -1, and I am wounded, I have +2. So he is in armor, so he gets -1. And now I have to check for the character that tries to stop him, and this is Scorp, and Scorp has no modifiers because he's no rider and he's no wounded. So let's make a roll, and this is 6. 7 minus 1 is 6, so I have to stop. I cannot move any forward, but that's fine. That's where I wanted to go. Next, Rigulf goes here. And I think this concludes my actions. I'm not going to move any further. So, Tidekel and Hildemar are attacking Soen. Now, they have 23 versus 3. So this is 20. That's pretty good. So, 20. And now, they get +1 column shift because 2 versus 1. And another +1 column shift because he used his double hand X, so he is not using his shield. So we get 20, so we would use column of 13, 20, but we get 2 column shifts into 20, 31, 50. Oh great, it's 1, best result. So you can tell that he's dead. So goodbye Soren, it was nice to meet you. You are dead. And now, since he is dead, I can make an advance. Next, Ligulf and Gurstam are attacking Scorp. Well, not much of the duel, because now there is 2 versus 1, but well, we don't care about honor and anything else, we just don't want to win. So we have 19 versus 7, so it is 12. And this gives us 9, 12 column, and +1 because of 2 versus 1. It is 8, and he is in armor, so it is 9. And this is B, so he has to retreat 1 hex, and he has to do infiltration check as well, because he moves in the same fashion like before. So he's in armor, he's not wounded, and he's no rider, and he's no wounded. So we need to make a roll, and we have to subtract 1. This is 6, so he has to stop. But he had to move only 1 hex backwards, so this is good. Nothing happens to them. Ligulf takes this hex. So this concludes Saxon actions, and they finally started to gain some advantage. Well, I guess so, because you can tell that they finally managed to kill one of Vikings, and Eskil, who is the best warrior of Vikings, is wounded. Okay, Saxons. I have my archer, and he still hopes to get rid of this nasty javelin thrower. Well, this javelin thrower did nothing serious to us, but let's try to kill him anyway. Okay, I hit him. How good? 3. Oh, that's good. Looks like he is wounded at last. 3. It is B. Offensive fire. Character wounded. So Gerbert, you are dead, because he was already wounded. So that's all for the offensive fire for Vikings, and now their movement. And that's where problem starts. Well, the Vikings are definitely pushed back, and I wonder if I should move Eskil out of here. Yeah, 1, 2, and Valtiov takes his place. Get some rest, dude, I will avenge you. And now I think that's all. I'm not going to move any further, because you can see the number of my units here is also pretty limited. So letting Saxons go here on the open ground from the bridge will let them to use their numerical advantage, and this is something that Vikings try to avoid. Okay, so who is going to attack who? Asgrim and Valtiov are going to attack Tidakel, and Valtiov is going to use his double hand axe. Yes, using this two-handed axe is pretty risky, but I have to act risky if I want to have any chance to win. So I think that I will attack with them together, so they have 9 and 16, so it's 25 versus 9, so it is for 16. So this is 16 and this is 13, 20 plus 1 for the 2 versus 1, so 21, 30 column. And 6 in 21, 30 is D. Character stunned. So Tidakel is stunned. And Scorp, well, where is Gurstan? I want to fight Gurstan. Where are you? Looks like Gurstan is gone. So he has to fight Ligulf. And Ligulf is definitely a harder opponent because he wears armor. Oh, this is a miss. I don't even have to check. So this concludes Saxons, the Vikings actions, and now let's go to Saxons. Let's start with missile fire. We lost our javelin throwers, but we still have archers. So this archer is going to fire at Hjalborn. He missed, no one around, so nothing. This archer here fires at Kari. He hit, and how good? 2. And we are checking in the light cover. So 2 in the light cover is B. Offensive fire, character wounded. Okay, Kari is wounded. That's bad. This means that he will get +1 modifier for all his 2-hit rolls. Okay, and now he is stunned, so he won't be able to fight in this turn. So what I'm going to do, I think I will move them closer. And I think they are going to attack Scorp together. Yes, this might be tempting to attack him because he has this two-handed axe counter, but I think that 2 versus 1 will be more effective. So we have 22 versus 7, so it's 15. And +1, it will be 21, 30 column. And +1 for the armor, this is 6. 6 in the 21 tier T is D, so he's stunned. No good. I hoped I will wound him. So now that's all, and he's waking up. And now Vikings. We have only Kari, who is also wounded, so he gets +1 negative modifier for his die rolls, and he is going to hit Beetulf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's in a range, but we get +1 because we are firing with wounded archer. It is 4, so we hit. And now how good? 5. This is A. Character retreats 2 hexes. 1, 2. Nothing serious. Okay, and now Vikings. So I can remove this two-handed axe, or I want to keep it. I think I will keep it anyway. So they are going to attack Tidakel with 9 and 16, so it's 20. It is 25 versus 9, so it's 16, and +1 column shift. Now where did I put my tables? It is here. And this is 8. In the 2130 it is C. So character retreats 1 hex. So Tidakel has to retreat, and you notice that his possible retreat hexes is occupied by Leodvet. But Leodvet can move and give him space. So Asgrim follows him, and that's all. Scope returns to normal, so we finished turn 6. And now Saxons. They still cannot make their way through this bridge, which is pretty annoying. Okay, I am firing at Kyrie with my archer. I missed, and the result is 9. So I hit him. I hit Kyotan. Okay, let's see. And 5, he's in the light cover. This is A, so he has to retreat 2 hexes. 1, 2, nothing serious. And now he fires at Hjalborn, or maybe at Ogni. Yeah, I will fire at Ogni. It is 5, so I missed. And I hit this hex, so no one's there. That's fine. Okay, so that's all when it comes to the missile fire. Now, movement phase. Not much of the movement here. Well, this bridge limits our maneuvers in this scenario a lot. So I'm not going to make any movement, just to not give any enemy archer opportunity to perform defensive fire. And now Hjalmar and Tidakel are going to attack Asgrim. They have 23 versus 6, so it is 17, and +1, so it will be 2130, and this is 5. No, 4. He is not armored, so this is E, and he is wounded. So Asgrim cries for Odin, but despite his bravery, he is wounded. And now Ligulf attacks Scorp. This is 10 versus 7, so it's just 0, 4, and +1. And this is 6. So B. Attacker retreats 1 hex. So Ligulf has to retreat, so Leodvert gives him space, and he retreats here. The question is if Scorp wants to actually take this hex. No, he doesn't want to, because he will be in the vulnerable position for attack. But from the other hand, he sees Gustan, his arch enemy in this battle. So no, I want to go here. I want to kill this Gurstan. So he goes there. Now, Vikings. Kari fires at Algar. He gets +1 for being wounded, so he misses, and he hits this hex, so nothing happens. Now, Eskil sees that they are fighting and he cannot simply wait there. He wants to join the fray. So 1, 2, 3. And now as he goes here, then enemy archer sees him coming and says, I want to hit this bastard. Let me see. Yes, I can see him. So let's try. 7. Oh, I missed, and I wonder which hex was hit. Arrow was running from here, so this hex was hit, so boom! Arrows falls in the water. So nothing happens. And now, who is going to do what? Well, Scorp is going to fight Gustan, of course. This is 2. And this is 5 in 0-4. This is B. Oh, this was a worst result possible. Why? Because Scorp has to retreat 1 hex, so Eskil has to give him space, and now Scorp moves here, and now he has to undergo infiltration test. Hell, it is 8 because he's in armor, so 8. He is wounded. No, looks like Hjalmar managed to wound him. Now, Valtjov, he still uses this two-handed axe, so he has 16 plus 5, so it's 21 versus 9. 21 versus 9 is 13. Sorry, 21 versus 9 is 12. Sorry, this is 12. So we will be using 9-12 column and plus 1 because 2 versus 1. And 8. This is C. Defender retreats 1 hex. So he moves back, and he moves back. And Valtjov decides to go here and to pursue the enemy. And this concludes turn 7. So still the situation on the bridge is not clear. I mean, Vikings are suffering slightly heavier losses, but they are still holding the bridge, so that's pretty good. Okay, time for Saxon archers. And well, he's firing at Ogni. He hit. How good he hit? 5, 5, and no armor, so no cover. This is A, so he has to retreat 2 hexes only. Nothing serious. And my other archer fires at Kari, and he misses. This is 6, so no one is there around, so this is a miss. Okay, and now my Saxons. Gurstan is moving out of here. I fought too much. I need to get some rest. And Ligulf takes his place. So now, Tidakel and Hjalmar are attacking Valtjov. So they have 23 versus 5. So 23 versus 5 is 15. Sorry, no, 23 versus 5 is 18. Okay, this is 18. So this is 30-20. Plus 1 because we have 2 versus 1, and plus 1 because of this two-handed axe. So it's 31-50 and 6. He is wounded. So Valtjov is wounded, so he cannot use two-handed axe anymore. And Ligulf attacks Scorp. This is 10 versus 3, so it's 7, so it's 5-8. And plus 1, because he's in armor, it's 4. in the 5-8. This is C, so he has to retreat 1 hex. So he goes here, and Ligulf goes there. Vikings. Kari fires at Gurstam. Actually, he could do this during his movement phase. That's my mistake. He could do this before, but well, he didn't. He hit, and wow, he hit hard. B. So Gurstam is wounded. He survived this heavy duel with Scorp, and now he was wounded with some arrow. That's unlucky. And fine, now. Asgrim and Valtiof are attacking Tidakel, so they have 10 versus 9, so it's +1. And +1 column shift because of 2 versus 1. So it's 5-8. And 10. This is nothing. Scorp and Eskil are attacking Ligulf, so they have 14 versus 7, so it's +7. And because of 2 versus 1, this is 9-12 column, and they are fighting together, so Eskil cannot use his modifier, I believe, because he only gets when he fights alone. 8 +1 because of Ligulf's armor. This is 9. 9 in the column of 9-12. This is A, so one attacker is wounded. Oh hell. They are both already wounded, so one of them is going to be killed. Let it be Scorp. Oh, that's bad. And now Ligulf can advance here, because enemy was killed, and he can move any further if he wants to, but he doesn't want to, he wants to stay here. So this concludes this turn. And now, well, notice that still, despite pretty good situation, Vikings are still technically winning the battle, because to win the battle, Saxons have to get a +3 characters on this side of the stream, and they have none so far. So let's go. He is firing at Ogni. Oh, maybe at Hjalborn. No, I will be firing at Hjalborn. This is a miss. He is firing at Kari. This is a miss. So that's all when it comes to the Saxon missile combat. And now let's go to the movement phase. Ligulf wants to go here. This is not going to be an infiltration test check, because he finishes his movement there. Now, Lodvert moves 1, 2. Now Kari wants to fire at him, and it will be he spent 2 movement points. Let's remember about it. And now he will be in the light cover, because line of sight goes to handrail. And he gets +1 because he's wounded. Ooh, 9. But where our so our arrow flew from here. So 9 means that we hit this hex. Oh no, that hex. Sorry, that hex. So Adgar was hit. And 3. It was light cover. With 3, this is B, so Adgar was wounded. Okay, it was 2, so I can continue my movement. 3, and I think I will stay here. Okay, so now Ligulf and Tidakel are attacking Asgrim, so they have 21 versus 3, so it's 18. And I have +2, +1, so it's 21-30. No! Why so bad? This is C, so he has to retreat 1 hex. And now he can only retreat here, because he cannot retreat into the river, because he will be dead instantly. So he goes here, but he must undergo infiltration check. So now he is wounded and he is not in armor, so he gets +2 because he is wounded. And 8 means that he is wounded again, so he is dead. Tidakel takes this as a chance and moves 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 2, 3. Nope, I can only move 3 because I can spend only half of my movement points. So 1. And now you may ask if I need to do infiltration check. No, because he's going to be attacked by them, so he's involved in combat. And if character is involved in combat during the advance, then you don't have to make infiltration check. So it's 1, 2, and now if I want to go here, I would have to undergo infiltration check because of the S skill. So I will try to do so. This will be 3. And now I need to undergo infiltration check. I have -1 because I am in armor. And enemy is wounded, so he gets okay, it is 10 and it was -1, so I am wounded. Tidakel is wounded. Oh, that's bad. Looks like Eskil is still dangerous opponent. But wait, I forgot about one thing. Eskil is also wounded. This means that we get -2 for our die roll, and this means that we get we got -2, so it will be, he will be still fine. Okay, sorry for my mistake. Tikadel, you are going back to normal. So he finished his advance here, and now Hjalmar and Leodved are attacking Valtjov. They have 21 versus 3, so it is 18, and they have +1, so it is 21, 30, and 8. 21, 30, and 8 is C, so he has to retreat 1 hex. Well, all the hexes that are adjacent and that are possible, his possible roads of retreat are adjacent to the enemies. So he may go here, but he has to undergo infiltration test by Leodved. It is 6, and he was wounded, so he gets +2, so it's 8, and this means that he's wounded again, so he is dead. That's bad. Alright, so 1, 2, 1, 2. And this concludes Saxon's movement. Okay, so looks like Vikings are in pretty complicated situation, because looks like Saxons are going to win. Well, let's see. Kari is firing at Hjalmar. He hit. And now how good? Now horrible. We got +1 because Hjalmar is in armor, so this is a miss. Okay, and now our remaining Vikings are launching their counter-attack. 1, 2, 1, 2, and now he fires at him in the defensive fire. He hit, and 3, he's not in armor, so 3, This is B, and this is defensive fire. He is wounded and he has only half of their movement points allowance remaining. So, Hjalborn, where are you? Yeah. So he has only 2 movement points remaining. So 1, 2. And 1, 2, 3. So this is their last charge. Well, maybe the last charge. So these 3 guys are attacking Tidakel. And they have 5, 12, 20 versus 9. So this is 21. So, it is 11. And this is 9, 12. And plus 1, because there is 3 versus 1. Oh, he is armored, so this is 9 actually. 9 in the 13, 20, this is B. One attacker retreats 1 hex. So who is going to attack? Hjalmar is going to attack, and Tidakel goes here. Now Eskil is hero, so he fights alone. He attacks Liodvet, and he has 8 versus 8. This is 0, but he gets this -5 modifier. So this is 2. On the 0, 4, this is D. So Liodvet is stunned. Not bad. And this concludes Viking's turn. So this is turn 10. So we are pretty close to end. I wonder if Saxons will be able to gain their victory. They aren't pretty far from doing so, but still they need to push a bit harder, because they still have no 3 units on that side of the stream. They have only 1, who is Tidakel. So, Saxons. This archer fires at Hjalborn. He hit, and he achieved nothing. Now, this archer is still trying to get rid of Kari, and he missed. Nothing happens. Okay, so my warriors here. So Ligulf goes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I wonder if my archer can fire at him. Yeah, I have a line of sight. So let him try. He hit. And 2. He is not in armor, but it was fired to the handrail, so it is light cover. 2 in the light cover, it's B. Okay, that's good. He's not just wounded. If there would be 1 less, he would be killed. So cover saved him from the sure death. Okay. He has only half of his movement points allowance, so he stops. And I think that's all when it comes to the movement. And now Tidakel and Ligulf are attacking Hjalborn. They have 21 versus 3, so it's 18. So it is 30, 20, and plus 1 for the numerical advantage, and 10, that's 0. Too bad. It's just B, so he has to retreat 1 hex, so they can 1 go here like that. Now Lugal and Hjalmar are attacking Eskil. They have 19 versus 7, so this is 14, and plus 1, it will be 21, 30, and 8 because he's wounded. This is C, so he has to retreat 1 hex. So he goes here, Hjalmar takes this hex, and Leodred is waking up. Okay, looks like we get a couple of our Saxons on the south bridge of this stream. That's good. Now all Saxons do is to kill some Vikings to make sure that the victory is going to be theirs. But Saxons, well, Vikings can still bite as long as they are alive. So Archer fires at Gurstan. He missed, and now he hit this hex, so nothing. And now my warriors, well, all of them are already engaged, save to Kyotan. 1, 2, 3. Wait, he was here, and now I wonder if my archer can fire at him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, this is 12 hexes range, so this is medium range, so I can fire above any other characters, so I can fire at him. But this is medium range, so I get +1 modifier. Even so, I scored a hit, and, well, 7, this is no effect. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kyotan goes here. Okay, and who is going to fight who? Ogni and Borg are attacking Logar. 15 versus 5, so it's 10. So it's 9, 12, +1, 30, 20. Oh, that's pretty good. This is E, so Leogar is wounded. Eskil attacks Hjalmar. It's 8 versus 12, so it's -4. But I have this -5 and +1 because of the armor, so -4 in the column. So it's 0 in the column of 0, 4. It is E. So defender is wounded. Amazing! He's really superior warrior. Despite such circumstances, he managed to wound one of the best warriors of the enemy. That's great for him. And Kyotan and Hjalborn, they have 12 versus 7, so it's +5, so it's 5, 8, and +1 for the number, it is 9, 12, and 3, it's 4, because he has armor, so it's 4, so it's D. Defender stunned. So you can see that Vikings can still put some serious combat. They might be beaten, but they are not defeated. Okay, Saxons. Etevold fires at Hjalborn. He missed, and he hit that hex. No one is there. And Alboret fires at Eskil. He missed, and he hit that hex, so arrow falls into the river, nothing happens. And now my Vikings, sorry, Saxons. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1. And now as he goes there, I wonder if this archer can fire at him. Need to check if the line is not blocked by my friend. No, it is not. So archer fires at Hjalmar. He missed, and 7. So he hit Leodred. Oh my! Lord is in the light cover. So 8 plus 1, this is 9, no effect. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go, guys. Let's get them. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I am attacking with my mass. And now, who is going to fight whom? Tidakel and Ednot are attacking Hjalborn. They have 18 versus 5 versus 3, so it's 15. So it's 1320 plus 1, it is 2130. 4 in the 2130, it's E. So Hjalborn is wounded. This means that he's dead. 1. He takes that hex. Now, Valdef and Leogar are attacking Ogni. So they have 11 versus 4, so it's 7. So it's 5-8. And plus 1, so it's 9-12. And 4. This is D, so he's stunned. And Leodwet is attacking Eskil, so it's 9 versus 3, this is 6. And 2 in the 5-8, this is D. So Eskil is stunned. Okay, and Ligulf is waking up. So that's all for Saxons, and now Vikings. Well, they have a problems because their number is reduced drastically. Their best warrior is killed because he was stunned, he was already wounded, and when your character is wounded or stunned, then he is dead again. This means that wounded character cannot be stunned. He is always killed in such situation. And now, what Vikings can do? Well, not much. I think Borg will fight with Leogar, hoping to do something to him. And Kjortan, what can you do, Kjortan? 1, 2, he goes here. So Kjortan attacks Valdef. Oh, I forgot about my archer. So my archer fires at Leodvet. He hit. And wow! We got plus 1 because of the armor, and this is light cover, so it's 2 in the light cover. This is B, so Leodwet is wounded. So this you can tell that if Archer is in the safe position, when no one can get at him easily, he can be a really dangerous character. So now, Borg attacks Leodwet. This is 8 versus 4, so it's plus 4. Oh no, I should attack Logar. It will be 8 versus 2, so it's plus 6. And 2 in the 5-8, this is D, so he's wounded. I mean, no, he's stunned, but he was already wounded, so he's dead. And Kjortan attacks Valdef. It's 7 versus 5, so it's 2. And 9, nothing. And this concludes turn 11, and this is going to be the last turn now. Well, looks like Saxons are winning, but let's play this final round. So, Saxon archer fires at Kari. He missed. This Saxon archer here has no line of sight to any Viking. So now, 1. Oh, I can wake Hogni up. 1, 2, 3. or maybe not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. One, 2, and that's all. So these three guys are attacking Kyotan. So 10, 17, 24 versus 5, so it's 19. So it's 30, 20, plus 1, so it's 20, 21, 30. And 1, he's dead instantly. He would be wounded normally, but this is F effect, so he's dead. Now Hjalmar, Valdev and Tikadel are attacking Ogni, so it is 19 versus 4, so it's 15, and plus 1, 21, 30. 8, this is C, so he has to retreat 1 hex, and he can only retreat here, so he has to undergo infiltration check. And 6, he is fine. Valdev takes this place, and Hjalmar and Leodvet are attacking Borg. So this is 10 versus 5, so it's plus 5, so it's 5, 8, plus 1, it's 9, 12. 9, 12 and 2, E, he is wounded. So that's all. Okay, so this concludes Saxon's actions, and well, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters there. It is impossible for Vikings to get them out of here, so this concludes the battle, because this is the last turn, and Saxons win the day if they have at last 3 characters here, and they have 5, so this is Saxon victory. Well, that was pretty straightforward battle, because we fought for this bridge mostly. There was little space for maneuver, and you could tell how deadly archers can be. These archers, especially if they are placed in some terrain, they can be very effective and dangerous. So, I guess that's all. I think I was able to show you most of the rules when it comes to the infantry. Well, there is another layer of rules when it comes to cavalry, but I will talk about it another time. So, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.